Good evening. I'd like to call the June 18th legislative meeting as public hearing to order. Everyone please rise for the salute flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to start the meeting with a public hearing. Now call for consolidated water district extension for Fallsburg Estates. Motion to issue order for public hearing and to accept map plan and report for filing for 6/18/2024 at 6 p.m. If anyone would like to get up and speak regarding this matter? Yeah, Mary.
Hi, I'm Mary Adams. So I guess the hearing is about the water extension, not about the estate itself. Is that true? Yes, that's what it says. So, I still have a concern and even a confusion when I go to the planning board meetings. They are approving people, approving developments, and then there's the caveat that there might not be enough water. And I still have that concern that we don't know yet how the water is actually going to work. And we'll know a lot more this summer, I think, maybe, see how it all goes. But I have some concerns about an extension, because that means we're adding something more to our water system that we actually don't know if we can give it. So I have some real concerns about that. And also, I have concerns about the amount of trees that have been clear cut. Probably at least 200 acres within a mile where I live. So I know this is about water, but I just really want us to make that forefront because trees are important for our shade, for our coolness, and for drainage. Thank you.
Anyone want to
Just a quick.
Pam, can you come up to the mic?
I'm a little shaky.
Little closer.
Pam Wagner, Bob Sheldrick, talking to them.
No, that's the mic.
That thing.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry, I don't know who to talk to. I just wanted to know if it had anything to do, this extension with what is being proposed on number 12 today, which is the drainage.
No,
Okay,
no connections.
okay.
Anyone else want to speak on this matter? The water district extension for Fallsburg Estates that we're discussing in this public hearing now. Anyone online?
Nope.
All right, let's do that. No one else wants to speak. I'm gonna entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second to close. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. All right, so now let's move on to regular business. First with the supervisor's report. Yesterday, County Bridge 261, DPW is going to be replacing that bridge over the next 5 months. This is on Garden House Road, off of Meyerhoff in Hurleyville. It's almost literally the boundary between Fallsburg and Liberty. You know, everyone, all the houses up to that bridge is Fallsburg. All the houses after that bridge is Liberty. They're going to be replacing that bridge over the next 5 months. And really the only way to get to the other side of that bridge is through a 4.2-mile detour, which is most definitely going to inconvenience our residents in that area. The job is going to be performed by county DPW, not our folks. But I put it out there for our residents to know about and accordingly. All right. You don't have any liaison reports, correspondence, Paula?
I have a letter signed by the Chief of Police, Brendan Pavesi, dated June 11th, 2024. addressed to Officer Kyle Gerain, Officer Jason Edwards, Officer Samuel Camacho, Officer Colin Garofalo, Officer Eric Humans, Sergeant Stephen Kahn, Officer Martin Gonzalez. This letter is to inform you of your outstanding display of service to your community. On June 8th, the above officers were involved in the investigation of a suicidal male who was located attempting suicide by carbon monoxide in a vehicle in Woodburn. When the father located his son and the son found out the father called the police, he became combative, then fled into the woods. Officers established a command post, contacted the cellular phone carrier for an exigent circumstance ping, called in outside resources, including a drone and K9 unit. After nearly 4 hours, the male subject was located nearly 2 miles from the incident location and was transported to Middletown for evaluation. Today, I met with the father of this male subject. While heading down to the hospital to visit his son, he felt it necessary to stop at the police station to make sure you all knew how appreciative he was for your actions that day. He sat in front of me and explained that your actions saved his son's life and that you went above and beyond with the way you treated his family during this difficult situation. The care and compassion for his family did not go unnoticed. He is thankful to report because of your actions, his son is receiving the help he needs and will be on the road to making a full recovery. You are commended for the outstanding job you performed. This letter will be placed in your personnel file and read before the town board. Thank you for your dedication to the police department and the community you serve. Sincerely yours, Brendan Pavesi, Chief of Police. We also have another letter from Julia Dolgus and Jim Dole from the Never Seen Campgrounds for Stephen Vogler, Fallsburg Police Department. I am writing to express my deepest gratitude for your effective response to the recent vandalism incident at the business premises on May 28, 2024. Your professionalism and dedication have left a lasting impression on us and our trust in the service provided by our local law enforcement. We are appreciative of the way you communicated with us throughout the process, ensuring that we were informed and reassured us at every step. We are truly grateful for your support and hard work as you solved the vandalism. It is comforting to know that we have such dedicated professionals looking out for us. Once again, thank you for your outstanding service and for going above and beyond in your duties. We greatly appreciate your efforts and dedication to maintaining the safety and security of our community. Sincerely, Julia Dolvis and Jim Dole.
Okay, at this point, let's open it up to public comment. If anyone signed up, please step up.
I have Mary Adams first.
I just want to just remind the public again, if you have any questions regarding any agenda items on our agenda tonight, please pose your questions. We will write them down, and then when we get to that agenda item for vote, I will go ahead and discuss and try to address any and all questions you might have.
Actually, I already agreed.
So then we would have to
Okay.
See if I can. Oh, shake. Just makes it easier. On each one of you. These. It is going in. I did it today, so I didn't get a chance to talk to Jen. Thank you. Changes. Because it's here on up to. You have two.
good poll needs.
Oh. Wait a second. It does have a sleeper? This one does, that one didn't, sorry. Okay, this one. I need to get one too. There was a letter I wrote, I know most of it, questions I'll try not to ask too many. But I did want to show you something, I wish we had one of those projectors that we had in school where it shows you these images. And basically, in Loch Sheldrick, there is a piece of land that is up for drainage project. And it's never,
About it, okay, do the work is already been done.
really,
There's retention ponds, there's catch basins.
how many years ago was this? Because we live right in the area. We're right around the corner. So when did this happen? So you're saying that it's just hanging out there, that swamp of an area? Stanley, you come up and you talk to me because you know about it more than I do.
It's not, there was flooding area, there was a flooding problem in that area. The town needed this property to put in drainage so that the road wouldn't flood. So the work is, there's no proposed work that's going to be done.
This is agenda item number 12.
Yeah, number
correct.
12, which says, authorizing the town of Fallsburg to purchase the property. So you're saying that it was already,
So the purchase of the property is because there was so much work done to the property that the property is now not usable by the private landowner. So
but it
the
was
town,
never usable by the landowner. It was owned by the Wiener family. And so it was just left there next to another piece of land, which is very large. I'm not sure if you can see this, everybody. And these are really important buffers for us because right next door, they decided to have two developments, which is Edenwoods and Garden View, I think it is. Sorry, I don't have it. Edenwoods Estates and Garden View Estates right next door. Then we have the buffer. Then we have the other buffer, which happens to be owned by Wiener's family. And then we have Zimmerman Estates, which is just adjacent of it. So I have concerns. I mean, you said the work was done, so you're saying there'll be no more, there won't be any trees removed?
correct. There might be maintenance work done because there's different stormwater things that might need to be cleaned out periodically, but you won't know, there's no.
But we've never seen anything. I mean, it was usually, what is it, sand pit, Stanley?
Well, that was decades ago. It was in,
It was so
there
long
was
ago.
cesspools back there decades ago.
But the bottom line is, there is no plan to do any additional work. on the property. That's all I just wanted you to know.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I appreciate that.
You got it.
I was really concerned about the noise barrier because in that area, we have two solid pieces of land that keep us from two other developments, and plus Zimmerman is coming up. We were also wondering about all of a sudden, I mean, it was there already, but all of a sudden now it's being used. So I'm wondering if all the new developments have something to do, has something to do with the fact that we're gonna have to use it again. Meaning that we're talking about, for instance, Hasbrook Estates, Cabana Sands, the Empress, which are all on that side of Loch Sheldrick. So I'm wondering, is it now being put into use because of that? Because it was just hanging out there and now we're using it. I'm confused. I'm just saying is why all of a sudden is it needed? And what would happen if it isn't done? But you said it's there, so I'm just wondering, is it set up basically like a drainage type of facility? Because there's not, we've seen nothing. We've seen nothing.
I am not I don't feel like I'm equipped to answer that.
Okay.
But it was put in because of flooding issues many years ago in the community. And it's to catch water and divert it.
Has the developments in that area made it, has caused more of an impact
Again,
on that?
I just wanted you to know because I started reading what you
Yeah.
handed out, and I saw that your major concern was what's gonna happen there.
Mhm.
I just wanted to I wanted to let you know that there is no plans to do additional work. It's work that.
Okay, that's great. Should have been worded in the agenda, that existing
It's a little.
facility that's there.
Well, that's why I wanted to.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Will they be taking down any trees? Any more trees over there? No.
I don't think we
Just to make sure it's clear, the resolution said the town of Fallsburg has used all its drainage and stormwater with permission, the property located at East End Avenue, town of Fallsburg, where tax map identification 19.9-1.2 containing approximately 2.5 acres for an excess of a decade.
Where's that in the?
Where
agenda?
is that in the agenda, sir?
It's in the resolution. It's in the
It's not
resolution.
in the agenda.
They don't get the resolution.
So then it's in the resolution. It
This
is
is
in the
what we
resolution.
had, because the agenda was kind of vague.
It's an existing law. The only thing that's gonna change is all.
Okay, so that needs to be explained in the agenda, thanks.
Also, when you put up these resolutions, it would be nice if you put them someplace that somebody can read them. So we're not coming up here and wasting John's time. I'm sorry, what
We
did
know
you
this
say?
was
Mr.
existing.
Lawyer, your name? I'm sorry,
It's bound. Bound.
Bound, Mr. Bound, would be
First name's Richard.
Mr. Richard Bound Squire. We would appreciate if this information is upfront, that there's transparency and full disclosure of what's going on. We know that the town board makes a lot of decisions for the town, and when we feel we're not getting all the information, for instance, permissive referendum, I looked up today and it said something about that it had to be put into the newspaper.
After we pass the resolution.
Oh, well, I can see it there. I mean,
There's a
I'm not a
statute.
lawyer.
Understood, but anytime the municipality acquires property, it's subject to permissive referendum. If the voters decide that we should not acquire the property and get the requisite signatures and file them, it would be an election as to whether or not the purchase is allowed.
Question, who are the voters? Just the town board?
No.
No, the people who.
So-
Permissive referendum is a petition of the people.
Okay. I just wanted to get clarity because I don't understand how this works. We're really concerned about our area. As many developments are coming in, many trees are going down. The trees are the drainage for a lot of the water that comes into the area. And so we just don't know what directions it's going in. And we would like to know that we're safe and that the quality of life is still there, and also that our properties won't be damaged by floods. So as far as you're saying, this thing is in check. It's just about the sale of the property to the Wiener family. It was good, but I would appreciate some of the answers. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else like to speak?
I don't have anything on my sheet.
Anyone here like to speak? Nobody on Zoom?
Nope.
Okay. All right, then I will go ahead and close the public portion. And we'll move on to agenda items. Good trend. Let's move on to number one.
Hold on
So-
1 second.
So, the first one is I guess it's a promotion. We have data specialist in the building department that is, met qualifications to be promoted up to enforcement officer at the recommendation of the department head. And we are here to, vote to promote that person. So number one, motion to approve the provisional appointment of Wesley Castillo as an enforcement officer in the building department effective 6/6/24.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, motion passes. Number two, we've had this before. This is basically where a business, applies to the state for a liquor license, and there's a 30-day waiting period for which the local jurisdiction is allowed to waive that period and allow them to, operate, right away. 99% of the time, we usually approve unless there's, some extenuating circumstance that shows us that we shouldn't. So, number two, motion to approve 30-day liquor license waiver for Moshe Batesh Incorporated, located at 1132 State Route 52, Box Elder, New York. Motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Mike, is that Star Guild?
That's the one that goes.
Number three. This one is unfortunately a resignation of one of our court officers, that's already handed in their, equipment and, met this a couple of weeks ago. Number three, motion to accept the resignation of Mark Cathcart as court officer effective 5/31/24.
Motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Aye, motion passes. Number four, this one is to, approve a part-time employment of a dispatcher. So the board recently approved, bringing up to 4 part-time dispatchers to help supplement our police department, and help relieve some stresses there. And, under the recommendation of our police chief, he has found someone who's more than qualified for the position. And we are here to, support that, decision. So number 4, motion to approve employment for May Franco as part-time dispatcher with a starting salary of $25 per hour, effective 6/3/2024.
Motion.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next is a reappointment or reinstatement. This is a, longtime employee of ours in the building department that has left us and moved away and, has subsequently moved back into the area. And we were very happy to have her back. So number 5, motion to reinstate account clerk typist Dallas Deisher in the building department effective 6/17/24.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, motion passes. Next one is, like Nate Franco, again, one of our dispatchers, we have 4 positions that we approved. This person is actually one of our retired police officers that is very well versed in our police operations, and would very much help to augment our police department by serving in a dispatch capacity. So, no, so, at the recommendation of our police chief, we're here to, approve of this person as a dispatcher. So do I have
Motion.
I have a motion to approve Scott McAfee as provisional dispatcher with a starting pay of $25 per hour effective 6/10/25.
Second.
I have a second. I also have one recusal. And I am in favor. I'm very in favor. So the motion passes. Next, this one is a big one. So, with the promotion of our lieutenants, we now have a opening in the police department for a full-fledged sergeant. And at the recommendation of our police chief and others, we are here to, I'm here to entertain a motion to approve Jason Edwards as provisional sergeant with a salary of $91,179 yearly effective 6/3/2024.
Motion.
Have a motion. I have a second. All in favor? I'm going to recuse myself. I have one recusal and I vote in favor. Congratulations.
We have at least start with, right, I work with you your time. So I'm proud of you, I'm proud of your family. This is gonna be a great thing. We got a great future. Love your son, any day of time, okay?
Strikes quick.
Best uniform person in the area, my mom. We'll see. That's a pleasure. Oh, you sold them all. There you go. All right. Good support.
Oh, you guys not good?
We'll fix it.
All right. Okay, all right, so now we're ready to move on. So number 8, motion to approve warrant number 0624 dated 6/8/2024 in the amount of $308,140.29.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Next, motion to approve warrant number 06/8/24 dated 6/10/24 in the amount of $256,255.88. I have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, on favor? Aye, motion passes. Number 10, I have a correction. This is a motion to approve town board minutes dated on 6/10/24.
Oh, yep.
For not 6/40/2024.
I missed this whole thing.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, so number 11, we discussed it, this is what we had the public hearing, for tonight, and we discussed in the last meeting. This was a situation where the town had worked with the developer for quite some time with the expectation that they would grant the water district extension. This board really, being that our engineers have told us that it would not be wise to grant any further extensions going forward. This board is really not in interest to extend this, to allow this extension. However, because of the fact that we've essentially paved the primrose path for approval based on all the correspondence and the work and the time and money that they put in, we're not in a position to deny. So, the town staff know that we are not seeking to allow any further extensions, unless, it's something that's of major public interest. And so right now we're looking to, get this passed, because it's a remnant of prior years. So do I have a motion to approve the resolution that approves consolidated water district extension for Fallsburg Estates?
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
I have a second. All in favor? Aye, motion passes. All right, number 12. So we discussed this a little bit during, public comment, and really, I guess, our town attorney did discuss much of this, already.
We can clarify, because this does have a detailed, resolution, and the interest, this has been in place for time immemorial at this point. But we do want to make a record, that it is owned by the Weir family, and one of the recitals is the seller is Jeff Wiener's successor to his mother, Rachel Wiener, who is a town of Fallsburg councilman, is required to recuse himself from participating in deliberation and approval of this resolution and the underlying transaction, has recused himself from participation in this transaction on behalf of the town. His permission is solely as a party and a resident. So the purchase price was based on a fair market value appraisal, and it is subject to permissive referendum under town law section 90 and section 91. As it is an unlisted action for purposes of the agency, there is no change to anything, so the board is assuming lead agency under this resolution and can make a finding of a negative declaration of environmental significance, because it is an existing property that's been used for existing purposes, and there's no present plans to change.
So yeah, it's my understanding with this property that many years ago, there was a very bad flooding issue in that area. And, the town engineers have, basically, identified this property as a good property to put in a retention pond. In order, and then in a series of culverts that would redirect water to this property, where it'll sit and then eventually evaporate away. The property was owned by, the Wiener family, or is still owned by the Wiener family. The town essentially came and did the work. It really should have been an eminent domain situation because it was absolutely needed for town purposes to mitigate the flooding that was occurring on the roads. However, that never happened. So the town put in a good amount of equipment and infrastructure to mitigate the water damage. However, rendered that property more or less useless to the property owners, where property owners were still paying property taxes every single year to it. Where $100 a year, but nonetheless, the property was almost exclusively being used by the town. But there was no remuneration to the property owners for that use. So, I did discuss what would happen if we were just pull all that, all that infrastructure out of there and the house or something, do something and give the property back to them. But then we would be stuck having to find some other way to mitigate the flooding in that neighborhood. And that would be a whole nother, expense. So being that we already put the time, the money and effort into the mitigation plan over there, it makes sense for the town to just acquire that property at fair market value, whatever it was appraised for, and actually take ownership of the property as opposed to giving it back to them and ripping all that out and then finding another property to put it into, or just continuing on, as what is really an unfair taking. So really, we're here to kind of right a wrong, in the sense that this is essentially been taken over as town property, at the detriment of the property owner, where they still have to pay a small amount of property taxes on it, even though the town owns the property. So, we're just looking to solidify something that's already been in place for many. Any other motion? Okay, so I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second, and that just means me, I like to vote in favor, so you can have a refusal, and I vote in favor. So the motion does pass. Again, it is subject to permissive referendum,
And there will be a notice.
and we will publish that notice. So when it comes to real estate acquisition for a municipality, it does require many steps because of the sensitive nature of real estate and government. So we're gonna go through that process, and we're gonna hear everyone out, and we're gonna move forward with it. All right,
We actually have a motion to amend an additional resolution that I'd like our clerk to read.
making your introducing the resolution.
That's all right. Paul, if you could read it, please.
The whole resolution?
Well, just the
What is the motion?
I want to add this resolution to our agenda tonight, approving our calendar and our work day
So the first motion is
to amend our,
to amend the agenda to add this resolution.
correct.
Okay, great. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, let's move into discussion. So why are we introducing this motion?
Because this is a requirement of the state to have these calendars. We passed the date, everybody submitted their calendars, and it was on the agenda last week. We pulled it off. We didn't want to pull it off, but I feel that it's timely that we should get it done and prove it.
Okay, I would like to make a correction to this resolution. So today I submitted a new record of activity that corrected the previous one that I had submitted hastily. The calculation goes from 8.5 to 12.07.
On your,
Just
on
my
your,
line, yes.
just on your line? You ran the calculation on the calculator online,
Yes,
so you're amending that line
Well,
on,
actually, before we do that, it's first we restore, and then you do that on step two, then the discussion on if there's a motion in the second to pass the resolution. So the first resolution on the table has to be disposed of. Do we add it to the agenda? Yes, so there needs to be a vote on whether to add it to the agenda.
okay, so since we're still in discussion though, if we pass this tonight and I make the correction later, then next week we would pass a new resolution with the updated number.
You probably could pass it, if there's a change or a correction, if it changes, there's probably two options to check on whether you have to amend the resolution or whether there'll be another calculation for 3 months. If you already have it in, if there's a type of, parametric error, probably have to correct it. We just are under a time frame. This has to be completed by the end of the month, published, and then filed with the state by July 5th.
So we have one more meeting this month. the
26, 25,
the 25th,
if there's any
yes.
further problems, yes.
So would we?
You could, this
Vote to approve this and then next week, vote on a whole new one with another.
will be an amendment, but it's just so I'm maybe not clear. The first motion has to be disposed of. Do we add it back on the agenda? Is the only
We have
question.
a motion to second.
You have to vote on whether you're gonna add it to
they
the
already
agenda.
did the motion in second.
So
But they didn't vote.
They have to vote. So are you
The
voting?
motion is to add to the agenda, not to approve.
No. First, we have to, there's two motions because we have an agenda. So the motion number one is add the resolution to the agenda. There's a motion and a second to add this resolution to the agenda.
Nate voted a one, or made the motion, and Miranda, seconded it.
So now there needs to be a vote on whether or not to add it.
Okay, so vote to approve.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so now it's been added to the agenda.
Add to the agenda. Now, it would be a motion to approve the resolution. And
I'll
a
make a
second.
motion to approve the resolution.
And a second.
Second.
We got a second.
Now discussion, during the discussion, you can make the corrections and it would be amendment of a motion if we were strictly applying Robert's rules, but essentially that's what it is. It's, you know, that would be your next step. So it would be a discussion as to whether or not to amend it to include a change from 8.5 to 12.6.
Okay. All right, so now on the agenda, so I did submit a updated RO, earlier today. I did run the calculation in the state, Office of the State Controller's website and the Pension Integrity Bureau. And based on the hours that I put in and certified, through my signature on ROA, which is required, the new number that came out is 12.07. So if you can make that amendment, then everything else should be good.
We have to do a motion to make an amendment?
Yeah.
There would have to be, yeah,
So.
it would be,
So after
or
the
you would
discussion,
say,
that's
that's the discussion and whether or not the.
I mean, out of curiosity, us to do this, we've taken it for a while, why the change?
We didn't have much to do, we had 30 days.
With all due respect, I'm sorry, I have to chime in here because I sent everybody through email in January the links to get to the site.
Correct. But I don't know if you remember the discussion we had, I was not a member of NICERS until.
But
until
I
filled out
did
that
send
application.
everybody.
Right, but I wasn't subject to it at the time. I had to get an opinion from the county stating that I am supposed to enroll in.
But I did my due diligence. I'm just clarifying that as clerk, I did my part.
Oh, yes, that's fine.
I need to clear my name because, you know, that was my job and I did do my job.
Duly noted. Thank you. So yeah, so this is kind of at the, not last minute because we have 30 days from submission.
I'm making a motion to approve this, and we can vote on that.
And then next week we'll vote on the
I
whole.
mean, that's up to you, we can vote on it tonight, but I want the motion's on the floor to approve this. We gotta go over the agreement. I'm saying, it wasn't done before, we didn't vote on it.
The motion that was put in is to amend.
Okay, we could vote on that.
Okay, do you see an issue with amending?
Yeah, I do,
Why is that?
because we had months to do this, and you submitted a calendar with your time on it. And now all of a sudden there's an issue, I'm just curious, what was the issue? You'd like to explain what the issue is?
Sure. The issue was consistency and accuracy. I've never done a record of activities before. And the idea was to keep it consistent with how it's historically been done. I required some research with the state controller, pension integrity bureau, as to how the process is done. When I submitted my original one hastily, because we're up against the a deadline to submit, I submitted by hand, a handwritten one that only had my physical meetings and did not include any information, thinking that was sufficient. The reality is, it's not sufficient. You're supposed to put in all of your activity. It's supposed to be transparent for everyone to be able to look up and see who you're meeting with and what time. So,
We should vote on it.
so, the issue is that the calculation I came up with was inaccurate and was not consistent. So I had reworked it and put in additional meetings based on going through my phone records, my calendar, and I put all that information in, and I have a new number. And that is an accurate number that the state controller can audit to. This number that's on our resolution tonight is not an accurate number that can be audited. That's the only reason for the change. Doesn't have any material effect. It does not change the amount of pension calculation, how much money that you receive.
That's absolutely correct. It's absolutely meaningless.
It's meaningful as a public document that's supposed to be transparent as to the activities that we do in our office.
Okay.
So even though it has no bearing on pay and pension, it has bearing as to the accuracy of our activities. So I held it, I pulled it off the agenda because, upon further review, it was not accurate. And, I've had time to work on it and to look at the how others are doing it and work on it in the same way that others are doing it. So, consistency is key and accuracy is very important. So that's a change. I pulled it off because I wanted the accurate number. If we're introducing, typically I don't like to introduce stuff on the agenda last minute if it's not completely accurate and ready to go. But since we brought this up, ad hoc, and since I did submit a updated ROA signed and attested to today, as all ROAs are required to be signed, it is submitted and the new calculation is valid.
Okay.
So, barring any objections, I would like to update this number and get this passed tonight.
I need a motion.
All right, so motion to amend as stated from 8.5 to 12.07. All right, I don't have a second
I believe we still have a motion on the floor for this
for this one. And
I
then
have,
second.
I have a motion to to amend the agenda from Nate and Miranda, then, and, that was approved by all, and then I had a motion for the discussion by Nate and Miranda, and that was all. So now I just need the motion for the amended.
The
ROA.
motion for the amended failed because it wasn't a second. Now we have to vote on this.
So, okay, so this is failed.
so Richard, now we're up to voting on.
There would be the motion on the table, because it didn't amend, is a motion to approve it as draft
Okay,
without the amendment.
Okay.
a motion without amendment.
Yeah, it was be the first one. The motion was to approve it as draft.
So what,
No, but you made a motion. There was, there's, all right, let's go step by step. Motion to amend the agenda, okay? Motion second, amended agenda to add this on.
Mhm.
So far, so good. Then there's a motion and a second to pass the resolution as drafted. That's always the way it is. I'm just saying as drafted because it was a possible amendment. All right, so the motion on the table is, to pass it as drafted with the original numbers.
Is that a third then?
No, the third motion is a motion by, the supervisor to amend the 8.5 to 12.07. That is not seconded, so that can't be voted on unless there's a second. So what has to be voted on now is the no,
The second.
just the second one. The third one, it's a motion, but no second. There is no motion. It didn't come into being. So there is a motion and a second to pass this with the original number. That's what's on the table.
But are we using the language from this motion? Or are we using this motion exactly? Resolution.
It would be the resolution, yeah, it would be the resolution as it was drafted, because that was what the motion and second was to pass that.
Okay, so to pass this tonight, do I still have time to amend this number because it's stated for next week?
If this is approved the way it's approved, it would have to be an amended resolution. There would have to be a motion in the second. Whatever happens, whether we amend it tonight and change the number, or whether we amend it at a later time, there needs to be a motion and a second and a vote for the adjustment.
What I'm saying is that this is dated a week from now. We can pass a motion tonight and certify.
Well, no, this would be passed as of today.
We
Passed
have to
as
make
of
an
today.
amendment on this resolution to include today's dates.
We could, today's dates are gonna be included because the resolution passed today. The clerk certification is always on the date of passage.
And,
The number would be, right now, the motion was to pass the resolution. The resolution was drafted with 8.5. Your motion and the discussion was to change it to 12.07, which wasn't seconded.
okay, so. All right, so we don't have a resolution on it, right? So we don't need to change dates on this resolution handout. That was-
No, it's just a draft. It's just a draft.
So what we're passing tonight is the language of the resolution with tonight's dates.
With tonight's dates, correct.
And part of this resolution requires the town clerk to certify that all this information is accurate as submitted with the ROA, including the amended ROA. So even if
She
the
certifies,
contradiction-
she certifies as to that it's an accurate copy of the resolution passed. She doesn't certify to the information.
Okay. So the information on this could be completely inaccurate, but we're still safe by passing it.
Well, it's always a possibility. It's better to be accurate.
Yeah, but we've already established that it's not accurate.
We have a motion before, I'd like to vote. You have 6 months to create a calendar. We're at risk of being late, by the state, and that could cause problems for the rest of us.
Not true.
Okay, well, what is true is we have a motion and a second to approve this. And you could ask 100,000 questions, but it doesn't change the fact that we have a motion and a second for this resolution.
Right,
Right here, right here.
we are in discussion.
You took it, yeah, we're.
Motion is second, and
Okay,
then
how long
discussion.
is it?
So. Once again,
What we're directing is that this is reporting the days based on the record of activities made and submitted by the officials to the clerk. So the better practice would be, if that's what you've certified to, the better practice would be to put that in the resolution and clean it up in one shot. It puts us in an untenable situation where we have both numbers in there, and you've indicated that the first number is not accurate.
so the record can reflect that this number is inaccurate, and we can pass that. That's correct.
Well, unfortunately, that's where we are. We're at a bit of an impasse with the board because there hasn't been there's not an acceptance to pass the resolution with the number that you're adding, that you're changing. So it puts us in a sort of a confused situation.
Okay. All right, so even
I'm not confused.
if it doesn't adhere to the Pension Integrity Bureau's requirements, this board is able to override that by a majority vote. So let's go ahead and move on with that. So. I have a motion. All right, well, I have a motion and a second. So all in favor? All opposed? One. All right, and so next I will entertain a motion to go into executive session. For the,
Hold on, let him announce.
yeah, for no reason, to discuss acquisition of land as well as, current litigation and specific personnel matters. No
Nathan.
one wants to go into executive?
Are we gonna make a motion to go in?
Voted 9 seconds.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you everyone for coming. We don't expect any additional comments after executive